House Republicans moving this week to impeach IRS chief over the Tea Party targeting scandal. They say he gave false statements under oath and the IRS destroyed evidence under subpoena. But Democrats say the impeachment would just be a waste of time and money. So, Mike, impeach, or would that be a waste?
David, Koskinen needs to be impeached. He's impeded with Congress's investigation. For months, he kept information about Lois Lerner's emails away from Congress. He should have been fired by President Obama, but since he's the president's lapdog on this, the president won't do it. This is precisely why we have this impeachment in the Constitution, and Congress needs to act.
And Bill, go ahead.
Well, I think, in contrast to Mike, that we should reserve the high crimes and misdemeanors trials for either people who cannot be fired by the president, such as a judge, or for the president himself. And if Mike doesn't like the way Obama is running the IRS, Mike should vote Republican in the next election.
But, Steve, there have been so many individuals, and I would throw Hillary's name out there, of people who just think that they can get around the legal process and withhold stuff that Congress is asking for. Isn't it time to put your foot down and make a case of it?
Well, this is why Congress's approval ratings are in the toilet, David, is precisely and why Republicans are mad at it, precisely because they can't seem to do anything. They don't know how to operate the power of the purse when government agencies, especially the IRS, which is the most feared agency around, engages in criminal actions, and the head of it goes before Congress and, in effect, flips them the bird. Well, they have to take severe action because Obama's not going to do it.
Rich, this hasn't happened in a while. It was 1876 the last time an agency had, in this case, it was the Secretary of War back in 1876 who was impeached. But is it time to do it again?
No, even though he deserves it. But Charles Krauthammer had a great column in Friday's Washington Post, and he said sometimes you have to admit that you can't hit the fastball. Well, the Republicans can't do hearings. They couldn't do the Benghazi hearings. They couldn't do the Planned Parenthood hearings. They are terrible at this. Hillary is begging for them to impeach the IRS guy because they'll look bad again.
But, Emac, how many other people are going to get away with obstruction of justice if they don't do something now?
I hate to say impeach anybody, but, 24,000 emails and other evidence were destroyed, giving agency to people in the media saying there was no there. Well, the emails were destroyed. If any law enforcement official or cop did this, they would be in big fat trouble and they'd lose their jobs.
John, to impeach or not to impeach? What do you say?
Oh, sure, impeach him, but it's just a big distraction. The big scandal here is that we cower before the IRS on an annual basis, that we have to prove our income to them. Focusing on this gets away from the real issue, which is an unelected bureaucracy.
But wouldn't it be nice, John, because you're always talking about how government's getting away with stuff, to stop one individual at least from getting away with stuff?
I think so, without question. But again, the real problem is that we're scared to death of the IRS and that we have to prove our income to unelected bureaucrats on an annual basis. It pulls us away from the real issue.
Maybe it's time. The real issue might be getting rid of the IRS. Not time for that subject now. Coming up.